All right, I'm here to react to the Kansas City Chiefs' victory over the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round of the playoffs in Buffalo. I don't even remember what the score was, 27-24, I think. Wow, what a what a game. Yeah, as a Chiefs fan, obviously you're super excited. It was a close one. You felt like going into this game, it was like, okay, the Chiefs looked really great last week against Miami. It feels like maybe they're kind of starting to turn it on. But at the same time, Buffalo is hot. They want this so badly. They're at home. You feel like Josh Allen is one of the few quarterbacks in the NFL that can really go toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes whenever they're both hot and they're both feeling it. And so you felt like the Chiefs could win, and they had a good chance. Especially there were some injuries on the Bills' side that I think were favoring the Chiefs. But it was not a sure thing at all until late, and then to come out with the win for the Chiefs, just absolutely amazing. I mean, here the Chiefs are going to their sixth consecutive AFC Championship game, which is the second most in NFL history. New England Patriots had 8 in a row from 2011 to 2019, so you are right there. Right next to the greatest dynasty in the history of sports, in my opinion, when you factor in salary cap and free agency, which is why I'm saying the Patriots are the greatest dynasty in the history of sports. And you're right there. I mean, you're starting to be comparable to them in terms of this postseason winning, and advancing to another AFC title game. And here we are. There's a lot of things to digest from this game. They're going to be talking about it for a couple days, and I could talk about it for a couple hours. I mean, the big takeaways for me here are that the Chiefs know how to win in the playoffs. People are not robots. Humans are not guided by numbers. They're not robotic. They don't always do the same thing over and over again. The Chiefs have a different gear when it comes to playing in the postseason. That's my biggest takeaway from this game. And the reason why I think that is because if you looked at what the Chiefs have done the past 2 games, against Miami last week and then against the Bills this week, oddly both AFC East teams, and then you look at that film compared to what they were doing in the regular season this year, and it's just completely different. I mean, the fact that the Chiefs have essentially fixed their penalty problem. They have mostly eliminated their turnovers. They had 1 turnover last week in garbage time, doesn't really count. They had 1 big one today, the McCole Hardman fumble, and that was a big one, and that almost swung the game and almost, put the game in. It would have put the game potentially out of reach and put the Chiefs in a really favorable position. So that was a big turnover, but the drops were essentially non-existent tonight. Everyone was catching the ball really well. Marquez Valdes-Scantling was making really great catches. Rice looked really great. Travis Kelce played his best game probably since week 5 of this season, and really one of the better playoff games I remember from him. And then Patrick Mahomes just was calm. He was cool. He missed some guys. He missed a couple guys in the back of the end zone, but all of his throws were high. He wasn't missing guys in traffic. He wasn't putting the ball in harm's way. Some of his misses were in the end zone when they were in field goal range, and they ended up getting points in those drives. He just feels like he's ascended to this next level of quarterback play where he knows when to take the risk, he knows when to take the shots, he knows when to run, and you're just not gonna fool him. Every now and then he's gonna try something, but in the playoffs he really doesn't do that, and that's really my big takeaway here. And Andy Reid. His creative play calling was amazing. I thought that the fact that they stuck to the run game was huge. Spagnuolo was really creative on defense there in the second half. The defense was getting ran on really for the first 3 quarters, maybe even 3.5, 3.25 quarters. They were getting ran on all over, and they were eating up big chunks of drives with long drives. Buffalo was. And, but then you got to give the Chiefs defense credit. They got it figured out late. They got stops when they absolutely needed to. They flustered, and I believe they confused Josh Allen. It looks like Allen was surprised multiple times with some of the looks that he was getting from Spagnuolo. Karlaftis came with an unblocked blitz that stopped him on a 3rd down, batted a pass. it really feels like the Chiefs just know how to win in the postseason, and that's dangerous, man. That is a dangerous team that you are going against. I don't care if you're Buffalo, I don't care if you're Baltimore, I don't care if you're San Francisco or Detroit. The Chiefs are one of the teams that you're looking at right now, and nobody wants to play them. And the fact that they're here in the Final Four again in the conference championship with a chance to go to the Super Bowl is just really a testament to how well coached they are and just how well they focus and get it right come playoff time when the games really matter the most. Just really a great win. There's a lot you could break down from the game, but I think the stars of the game, I think, were obviously Patrick Mahomes. I think he played a really efficient game. Travis Kelce, I don't know how many yards he had, but he had 2 touchdowns. Pacheco was great. He had almost 100 yards rushing and a touchdown. It was really just a great game, but defensively, you've got to give credit to Chris Jones coming back in from an injury, the secondary for not letting guys get open, and for them just staying disciplined all game. They got some big gains on them, but they didn't panic, they didn't fluster, they didn't get mad at each other, they didn't finger point, they didn't get upset, and they just made the plays down the stretch when they had to. And then not to mention Harrison Butker on that first drive drills a 40 or 50, it was almost a 50-yard field goal, I believe, in that wind and nailed it. And obviously the Tyler Bass missed the field goal there at the end for the Bills, and that was a 44-yard field goal attempt in windy conditions outdoors. You're not going to make that every time. That's a missable field goal. It's a very makeable field goal, but it happens. You don't want it to come down to that, and you got to give the Chiefs defense credit for stopping them there and making it 4th and 9 so they weren't tempted to go for it there. So my big takeaway with this game is just that the Chiefs know how to win. It's really hard to trust what they look like in the regular season overall in terms of what's going to be indicative of what happens in the postseason because they just seem to elevate their level of play every year. And here they are with a chance to go to the Super Bowl next week. Just spending another minute on Buffalo here for a second. Look, man, I'm a fan too. The Chiefs fan. We were here a few years ago. I mean, you got to feel bad for Bills fans a little bit. I mean, I know they throw snowballs and whatnot, but the Buffalo Bills, they where do they go from here? It's a good question because I don't know. I was saying before this game, and a lot of people were saying that the Bills may want to fire their coach if they lose this game. It's hard. It's hard to say, man, because I just kind of feel like they're going up against a juggernaut every year. It just feels like the Bills are a really good team, a really, really worthy opponent. They're consistent. They've won their division 4 years in a row. But it just seems like they've got Michael Jordan in their conference in his prime, and they're just not able to get past that. And most teams can't. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, since they've been together, they are now 13-3 in the playoffs. They've only lost to 2 quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. That's it. They've beaten everybody else. And so there's no shame in it from the Bills fans' perspective at all. And I think that the Bills are going to be fine. I think they're going to be okay going forward. But, man, these losses to the Chiefs have got to be demoralizing for them. And so you feel for the Bills fans. You feel for Josh Allen. He played a great game overall. He's a stud of a player. And I think the Bills are going to be around for a while. But, man, from a bigger perspective, if you zoom out here, you got to be looking at it and got to be saying this is still the Chiefs' conference. We'll see what happens next weekend. But, the fact that the Chiefs are in the conference championship for the 6th year in a row is really just amazing. And it's just a testament to their focus and the way that they prepare and the way that they execute in the playoffs and the way that they clean things up. They tighten it up, really. They don't do a lot of loosey-goosey type plays. They do some here and there, and it makes me mad when they do, but sometimes it works. And it just really seems like Mahomes and the pass catchers and the running game and the defenders just really go into this other level, other gear whenever the games count and matter the most. And that's really exciting. And I think it bodes well for them going forward this year and future years. So that's all for me right now. Yeah, go Chiefs. What a win. Very exciting. And yeah, I'll have a video later this week previewing the AFC Championship and then the NFC Championship. So, all right, everybody, have a good night.